Hi, and welcome to our product highlight on leaders and clips. If you've ever wondered how these products can help your quilting be more pleasurable, then you're in the right place. Today I'm going to talk about our precision leaders as well as the clips. And I'm also going to give you some of my personal tips and tricks for using them. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to ring that bell so that you never miss an episode. The precision leaders come in two kinds. They come in a pack of 3 for our rolling rail system, and we also have the precision leaders which come for the needs of a hoop frame. They are a heavy duty material. Depending on the ones that you have, will have different attachments. So the ones for our rail system have a Velcro attachment. They also have these guiding marks to help you line up your fabric. Depending on the kind that you get, if you have the rolling frames, they will come with these cut lines. You can cut these, serge them, hem them if you desire. For the 3 rail system, they all come 136 inches in length and can be cut down to the size of the frame that you have purchased. And then they come in varying widths depending on the placement on the frame. So we have the large one. This one is 24 inches. The middle one is 19 inches. And then the smallest one is 11 inches in width. They all come with the Velcro already attached. That is ready for your frame. For the hoop frames, it comes with 2 long ones. The length is also 136 and 9 inches. This one you're not going to want to cut because the cording helps you maintain your quilt, and it works with the Cutie Breeze, our Evolution hoop frame, and our Q-Zone hoop. It also comes with the other larger one, which does not have the Velcro backing. This one's also 136 inches in length, but 16 inches in width. And then it has 2 shorter ones, which is for your sides. For each leader that you have for your rolling frame, you're going to have a roll of the sticky side of the Velcro. First thing that you're going to do is fold it in half. And then once you have the center, it's a good idea to mark that on the Velcro side. Also, measure the length of your frame, regardless of what rail that you're on. Make sure that you turn the side up that has the holes. It's just going to make it a little bit easier for you. And then at that center mark, you're just going to undo your Velcro, giving yourself about 1 inch on both sides, and then you're simply going to stick that center part on and unroll, keeping it straight as you go all the way across your frame. Any excess can be cut off. Once you have your Velcro on all 3, it's time to attach your leaders. So make sure you have cut your leader to the size that you need it to be. Fold them in half, find the center, and you're going to mark that. And it's a good idea to mark it both at the top and at the bottom. This one will be for lining up on the rail, and this one will be for lining up your backing. The short one goes on your take-up rail. The middle size one goes on the front rail, and then the widest one goes on the bottom rail. Now we have all of our leaders attached to our frame. We're ready to add our quilt. You're going to fold your backing in half and mark it. I just put a little pin there so I know where my location is. And you are going to line this up with your center marking, and then you're going to attach your first pin. So you can continue to do this from the front side. I'm a little on the shorter side, so I actually like to do this from the back. And what I'll do is I'll roll this a little bit so that I just have a better handle on the quilt. Once we get it pinned, we're going to roll it all the way back up. And now I'm going to attach the bottom of the backing to the front rail. And a lot of times I like to kind of get mine really lined up. So if I've pulled it a little too far, then I'll loosen this, because I like to try to get this really lined up just to make my life a little bit easier. And that's when I'll use my clips to kind of help hold that weight for me. You want to be sure to find the center part of the bottom of your backing, and you're just going to pin that to the leader for your top. I finished pinning the backing to the top rail leader, so now I'm ready to remove my quilt clips, and we're going to roll this up. I'm going to loosen my front one because I want to continue to roll this up. We're going to take our batting and tuck that between the top and bottom rail. Right, so that's nice and loose for me to work with. Now I'm going to just repeat what I've been doing by pinning my top to the bottom front rail. Now's a good time to use our pink quilt clips. These are the large size, and I really like these because they're easy to put on and you can overlap them so that you stay perfectly smooth up here on your quilt top. And of course, if you need to, give your frame a little turn. Another way that you can pin your backing to your leader is to do it off the frame. You're going to start by finding the center of your backing and the center marking that I showed you earlier, and you're just going to lay your rail cloths on top of the wrong side of your backing fabric and start pinning. You'll see on here that we do have a pin line, and you just simply line that up and add several pins. I like them at least an inch or two apart. They don't have to be too close, but you don't want them too far. And then once you finish up, you're going to find that center and match it up to the center Velcro on that take-up rail and just smooth that out. It's really that simple. I think you're going to find that with the take-up rail for a hoop style frame, it's just going to be easier to pin off of the frame. And so that's what I have set up here. And then once I get my take-up rail ready to go, then I can take it to the frame. I brought my quilt over here from earlier that I attached to my hoop leader. And so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the rope part and we're going to tuck it through the machine. And then we are going to take our layers and get them underneath. And then we're going to drape this where we want to get started. Once you get the quilt where you want it, you're going to take your clamps for your take-up rail and apply those. And then the excess will just tuck right in there. So I have that roll, just tucks in nicely. And then I would add my front clamps and then my side clamps. If it doesn't reach the side, that's what the little short ones are for. I can simply use the lines that I have for pinning to add this to the fabric. And this is going to give me that little extra that I need in order to put my side clamp on and get the tension that I want. I generally don't add my bottom cloth leader until I get closer to the bottom. So if I didn't have this extra piece here, then I could attach it right here. And I like to do it on the frame very similarly to how I did it on the rolling frame. I just get on here, find my center, pin this on, and now I have that little bit of extra that I need in order to finish the bottom of the quilt. Here we have the Q-zone hoop, and we're just using the bungees that are going to hold that roll up for us. On the Cutie Breeze, just tuck your rope and have the coils hold it in place. Let's talk about our accessory quilt clips. They come in two sizes for both the long and the small. They come like this packaging here. These are 2 inches in diameter. We also have the smaller versions, which are 1.5 for the smaller railed frames that we have. For a full list of what frames these work with, be sure to check out our website, graceframe.com, and it lists all that information for you. And these are just great for helping you really get your fabric nice and managed. They will overlap, which keeps your fabric from having any of those little puckers now and again. So they're great if you're doing automation. And then the small ones are great for organizing. You can use it to hold your thread, because nothing is worse than those strands of thread getting all tangled up. You can keep those at bay with the small ones, depending on how big your thread is, or the large ones for the huge spools of thread. They're also great for keeping your fabric managed, and they are just great for organizing cords like I've done here with this iron, so that I don't have a big tangled mess that I have to deal with. It's time for a little Ange trick. When I'm in a hurry and I really just want to get my quilt attached, I found a way to use the blue clips to quickly attach my quilt to my Evolution hoop frame when it's in rolling mode. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to tuck my fabric underneath my hopping foot. So I'm going to get my quilt where I want it. I'm going to wrap this around. I'm going to add my first quilt clip, and then I'm just going to overlap them a little bit. And so then I can turn it, and then I'm going to take the other ones and I'm just going to interlock them. And so now it's really secure on there, and I can roll to where I need to go, add my front clamps, and I'm back in business. I do sometimes like to use the pink clamps on my Evolution hoop frame, especially if I have a thicker quilt. If I'm doing a lot of batting, they just give me that little bit of extra room for getting my quilt nice and secure on the frame. One of the ways I like to use the mini quilt clips is to hold my quilt on my table while I'm pinning on the backing or I'm trying to smooth my layers together when making the quilt sandwich. Did you know you can use the blue clips to keep your cord organized on your light bar? Learn more about our precision cloth leaders and our quilt clips on our website, graceframe.com, and share in the comments what are some innovative ways that you use your leaders and your clips. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.